G'day everyone, out and about on this glorious winter's day. Something a bit different today. I'm out and about on a 1979 Triumph Bonneville T140D special. You haven't seen this bike before because that's because the rear brake decided to stop working on me, and that was just before I bought the Tiger. So it's been sitting in the shed ever since. And a few weeks ago I found the time to fix it, and here we are. I'm just out and about now testing it out, and it seems to be working all good. So it turned out to be the rear master cylinder, and instead of buying a rebuild kit, I decided to buy a whole new unit. It's a stainless steel one, so better than the original cast one. So yeah, replaced it, and seems to be working good. A bit more of a job than what I thought, because the master cylinder is tucked behind the swing arm. I didn't realise Triumph actually built the rear end of the bike around the master cylinder. So in order to get at it, I had to jack the bike up and take the mufflers off, take the rear wheel out, just to get at it to swap it over. But it's all done now, and it seems to be working fine. So the T140D special, only made this bike for 2 years, 79 and 80. I think it was a bit of an experiment to try and break into the American market a bit more and compete with bikes such as the Yamaha XS650 specials. Because I only ran for 2 years, I don't think it was that much of a success. All up, I think they sold around between 2,500 and 3,000 units. So yeah, I think what was really bad was the currency rate at the time. It turned out that the Triumph ended up being a lot more dearer than, say, the Yamaha equivalent. And yeah, so they stopped producing it in 1980. All the same, a very nice bike. So I've had this one a few years. I bought it as a bit of a project. The guy who had it before actually knew less than I did about old bikes, and he just ran it until it stopped, and decided to sell it. So it had obviously a few issues when I got it. First of all, when I went around and seen it, it was covered in boxes and stuff. So he took about like 15 minutes to get it out, and when he did, we tried to get it started, and it wouldn't start properly. It would start, but it would only run for about 15 or so seconds. And yeah, it was rough as guts when it was running. Also, the clutch was frozen, so couldn't free that on the Kickstarter. So yeah, I still ended up buying it. Like I said, it's a bit of a project. It was a good price. He was leaving town, leaving the area, and yeah, so I got it and brought it home. I'll go around this way, see what it's like down the beach. Yeah, so once I got it home, I went over it. I found out it was only the plug leads that was stopping it from running, and once I changed them and the plugs and tweaked it a little bit, it was running pretty much how it is now. It's fine. The clutch, however, was a completely different matter. When I took the cover off of that, pretty much everything inside was worn, needed replacing. So I ended up replacing everything behind that primary cover. Clutch plates, clutch basket, cush drive, pressure plate, all the little roller bearings, front sprocket, triple X chain, the chain adjuster, right down to the woodruff keys. I just went through the whole thing and just changed it, and another stator as well. So yeah, and I got most of the parts, all the clutch assembly and everything, from the place in the UK, LF, I think it's LF, or LP, sorry, LP Williams. And yeah, and clutch basket, cush drive, pressure plates all made out of billet alloy, so it was a saving there of about 1.5 kilo. So, which is good. Not that I'm after more performance out of this bike, but it's got to be better for it, lugging around a little bit less weight. Also got his 7-plate clutch plates system, which is clutch plates itself, the friction plates are a less surface area than the original, so it's a lot lighter on the clutch. It's really light, actually. It's absolutely brilliant. And also the plates don't have less chance of sticking together. So, and it has, you know, one or two kicks on the kickstarter before you start it up with the clutch pulled in, and yeah, it frees it straight up. So really happy with the way the clutch is working on this. It's not a concourse machine, of course. I think it's had a bit of a rough time, but I was mainly going to use it as an everyday ride, so I've just been fixing bits and pieces as I've been going along. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll find the usual spot, that lawned area in town, and we'll do a bit of a walk around, and I'll go through with you what's original on the bike and what's not. So I'll catch you all in a minute. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy this weather and enjoy the ride. Typical, you're supposed to go on the inside lane, you idiot. You love people like that. In here, I reckon. Neutral, so easy to find. Brilliant. Had a few hiccups, but it seems to be working alright now. Oh, maybe not. Sides down. So there we are, guys. There she is. Probably doesn't look too bad on the camera. Yeah. So what's correct on this bike? It's got the Leicester alloy wheels, which are standard. It's got the pullback handlebars, the American style handlebars, peanut style tank, and the step seat, and the paintwork, even though that's been repainted at some stage, I reckon that's the correct paintwork. They only made, when they made these bikes, they only made the one paint scheme, which was the black with the gold pinstriping for that 2-year period. What's not correct on this bike is the exhaust system. It's got a 2-into-2 exhaust system with Dunstall style mufflers on it. What it came out with a 2-into-1 system. So yeah, I have got the 2-into-1 header pipes for it. I just haven't got the muffler. Not that I want to put the original muffler on it. Yeah, if I could find an alternative, I don't know if one of these will fit or not, but if I can find an alternative I might put the system on. But as it is, I don't mind it the way it sounds now. I think it sounds nice. I did take these baffles you can repack, and I ended up doing that because when I had it running it didn't sound that great. It sounded like there was nothing in them, so I took them apart and repacked them, put them back together, and yeah, it's got a nice nicer, deeper tone to it. I quite like the styling of the bike. A few Triumph diehard fans probably don't, because it hasn't got spoke rims on it, but yeah, I like it. I've had the cover off the gearbox. I replaced, there was an oil leak there around the kickstarter shaft, so I replaced the seal there. Everything in the gearbox looked good. Yeah, so just on the clutch and everything, I said that I got most of the parts from the UK, from LP Williams. LP Williams, he actually worked for Triumph Meriden back in the day, and he was the manager for their official racing team, and when he was at the helm they won 5 Isle of Man TT races, 5 in a row from 71 to 75 on the same bike, which I believe was a Triumph Trident. They called that bike, I think they called it Slippery Sam. So yeah, a bit of a sad story though, because yeah, they won from 71 to 75, and in 75 Triumph Meriden had some huge cutbacks, and he was one of them, unfortunately. So he left and started his own business in 1976 and making spare parts for these bikes. Yeah, I think they laid off about 4 or 5 engineers and managers, so yeah, pretty much at the dying days, trying to save money I suppose at Meriden, but they ended up shutting up shop in 83. So I'm not going to dribble on too much more, but I'll just let you know what isn't correct, other things that aren't correct on this bike apart from the exhaust system. Little things like the foot peg rubbers. These are from an earlier model. They're round ones. The ones on this bike are supposed to be the flat, like a flat rubber foot peg. So, but I quite like the round. It's not. I mean, when they wear, I might change them for the original type ones. I know the back ones are worn. They got splits in them, but nobody goes on the back anyway. So I'm not too fussed about things like that. Another little thing, for some reason at some point somebody's changed this right side switch gear, because it's got an electric start button. This bike never had an electric start. So I have got the correct switch gear. It actually looks exactly the same as that. It's just this area is blank where they put the button. So yeah, that's just something to do later on when I feel like it. It's just to change that over. So it does run pretty well. I have the carbies. I probably should go through the carbies. I know I've got an issue with the choke lever. I have to hold the lever down in the mornings to start it, so I've got to hold it down and kick it at the same time, because for some reason the choke lever won't stay in position. It just keeps flicking back up. So that's something to look into when I get time. But I'm glad I got it back on the road. Very nice bike. So anyway, I won't bore you too much guys, so that's it for this video. So till next time, ride safe, and I'll catch you all another time. Time to jump back on it again. Got to put it on the center stand because it's been sat here a while I've been taking some pictures, so I've got to hold the choke lever down and kick it at the same time, like I was saying. So here we go. Fuel on. Hold down the choke lever. There we go. It's easy as that. Oh, you can see that. See how easy that lever is? Hope he's got enough battery power to get home.